Trudeau's ill-conceived plan to freeze the sale and purchase of handguns in Canada is going to increase the number of handguns available on the black market. Don't believe me? Check this out. Hello and welcome back to the Way to Native Chronicles. I suppose I should explain myself a little bit on what I said at the beginning here, that Trudeau's proposed changes to the law where all handgun sales are going to be frozen and purchases as well is going to definitely lead to an increase of illegal handguns on the black market in Canada. Let me begin by just referring to Jordan B. Peterson. He's one of the preeminent intellectuals in the world right now. Of course, totally ignored and shunned by Canadian media, but most of us know about him. Very smart man, and an Albertan too, so there's another point in his favor. One of the things he points out, among the many good things, is that arrogant people think that they are so smart that they can take a complex system and they can tinker with it and change it and make it better. I mean, it's a good impulse, sort of, but it's prone to making things worse. Almost every time you take a very complex system and you try to change it, what you're going to do is make it worse. So you have to always be very careful about changing things and taking the time to assess the impact of your changes later on to see if they are achieving those results you intended. And the Trudeau government is just going hog wild when it comes to making changes for gun laws in general, because they want to show that they're doing something, and they got to make the Conservatives look like we're protecting you Canadians from these crazy Conservatives with their guns and stuff like that. So what they're going to do is they're going to try to pass this law, and they have the numbers to do it, where you can no longer buy or sell handguns. Now, if they had taken the time to think this through, they would be able to see the point that I'm going to make in this video. But of course, they haven't really thought that through, because that's not the point. It doesn't have to work. It just has to look good in terms of getting votes and changing the subject to something other than the economy and his failed leadership. So what's going to happen with this, guaranteed, is that it's going to increase the number of handguns available on the black market. Because did you know how much a handgun is worth on the black market? A Glock is worth $5,000. Now, the way things are right now, you'd be crazy to sell a handgun on the black market, because that gun is, if it's legally owned by you, it's in the registry, and if that gun ever got used in a crime, it's going to be traced right back to you, or you may need to at some point show your handgun on an inspection or something like that. That gun is tied to you forever, until you legally sell it, that is, right? Well, now you will no longer be able to legally sell that gun. So what are you going to do? The government says you can't sell it, you can't buy it. They're not proposing any buyback plan, which if he did would only be a very tiny fraction of what the gun's worth anyway, so forget that anyhow. But so they're not going to buy it back from you. What's going to happen to the handgun when you die? Not just a handgun, but handguns. Like a lot of guys have, half a dozen handguns. I used to work at a gun counter, so I know this. There's people with very large investments in guns. They love guns, and they do a lot of shooting, and they like to try different ones, and that's part of the interest of the sport. They're kind of like collectors, right? So you're going to be a guy sitting at home some point in your life. You're going to get older and older. All these guns are going to accumulate into the ranks of these older and older people. And at some point, I don't think it's a surprise to say this to anybody, you're going to die. Now, if you die and you have these guns, the police or the government just going to come in, they're going to take them all to the police station or wherever, and they're just going to destroy them. That's the end of it. Sounds like a perfect solution if you're a liberal, right? Well, not quite. Now think about this for a while. If each gun is worth $5,000, let's say you have even 6 handguns. There's $30,000. There's some guys who have 12. There's people who could easily have $100,000 worth of handguns right now. What are you going to do with people like that? What I think is going to happen, and it's the only logical thing, is they're going to sell these guns on the black market. And I'm not promoting this idea. I'm just pointing out this is an obvious fact. If you're a parent and you want to hand down your estate to your descendants, and you've got, let's say, $50,000 worth of handguns that could go on the black market, and there's no way of selling them, so that's why you can't do anything with them, and you're going to die anyways, what's the government going to do to you if you sell them on the black market? There's nothing they can do. There's no incentive to follow the law anymore. You know, you feel you're being mistreated anyways, and the government's just going to take these guns and going to destroy them. I mean, personally, I would have a problem with the fact that these guns would be used by criminals and things like that. That's about the only deterrent. But really, if you're looking at in pure dollars and cents, it makes sense to sell the guns, really, because especially if you're an older person who hasn't got the funeral costs covered and things like that, and you know your children are struggling, you know, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 extra in the state to give them would make a big difference in their lives. So just to kind of give the government sort of an FU, you know, maybe your last dying act will be, I'm going to sell them to Joe Blow, who I know buys these illegal guns, and you don't know what happens to him after that, but you get that cash, goes into your bank account, and then at least it's not wasted. So I have a feeling that the government hasn't really thought this through. Down the road, there's going to be a whole lot of old people with handguns that are going to be very tempted to sell them on the black market. And it's not like this is going to take a lot of years to come to fruition, the effects of this law. It will start right away the day after this law is passed, because once people are no longer allowed to sell, there are people dying every day. So these guns are going to start filtering out onto the black market. That's what I think. So anyways, I hope this video has helped you out a little bit. I encourage you to click the like button to get this information out to more people. Subscribe to this channel if you can, please. And if you want to go even a step further, there's a super thanks button on the bottom here. If you're logged in, I think you have to be, and that lets you enter in the amount you want to donate, because all this stuff does take money to produce, and the more we have for our equipment and things like that, the better we can do our job. So from the Way to Native Chronicles, God bless, and catch you next time.
Day to generake开会这些，给大家。